Good morning, everybody. All right, we have got a very exciting show today. We've got a lot of guests that are going to be on today. We're going to do some fun mixing it up, kind of Jeopardy style, so it's going to be very interactive. So grab a cup of coffee, and we're going to get started in about 1 more minute. Dave, are you able to see my screen in front of you?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Great. Looks like you already have your coffee too.
Mm-hmm.
The nightly news, that's a perfect cup to have today, right?
Yes, it is.
Not that everyone's watching or paying any attention to that. All right. Got a couple more people just logging in right now, so we'll give them a minute and then we'll go ahead and get started. So Dave, anything new and exciting?
New and exciting about what?
Anything new and exciting you want to chat with while we've got a couple more people logging in?
Well, I thought we were saving the new and exciting stuff for when we get inside the show. I don't want to spill the beans.
I meant personally, anything new and exciting personally.
No. Well, let's see. I'm excited that they're going to start playing Christmas music pretty soon here.
Perfect. You know, I actually heard my first Christmas songs in the car last night when I was taking Jake to dinner. So it's official. Christmas music has begun. So I know Tracy's probably very excited. She's probably clapping in her office right now. So.
Yeah, she usually turns it on as soon as it's available.
She does. Tracy, are you already listening to Christmas songs?
You better believe it. I watch Hallmark Christmas movies, and I got my ringtone on my phone is already Christmas.
I love it. I knew it. Did you see that there's 2 new Christmas stations on, I don't know if you do Sirius or
the Hallmark, there's 2 different ones. One's lighthearted and funny, and one's more sentimental.
Yes.
That's what I'm in the mood for.
Yeah, I hate to admit, I think I have 3 under my belt now, so already for the year.
About 20 under my belt. Not to mention my entire DVR is filled with Christmas movies.
Yeah, I have to say, I said I'm not going to go overboard. I'm not going to watch so many this year, but that doesn't seem to have happened. So, all right. So we got a couple more people logging in, and we've got a couple really special guests today. So we're going to go ahead and get started in about 1 minute. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. We're gonna go over just a little housekeeping first to get started. We're gonna do more of a Jeopardy style type today. We're gonna ask some questions. We're gonna have some guest hosts. And we're going to talk about some new exciting news that you guys will be the very first to hear. So that's always fun. A little bit about GoToWebinar. If you're not familiar, probably at this point, your GoToWebinar panel is minimized over at the right side of your screen. And you can ask a question at any time. If you go to that GoToWebinar panel and you open it up, you'll find a questions box. You can go into that questions box and ask a question at any time. If you'd like to have your line unmuted so that you could ask your question to the group, there's also a raise hand icon, and you'll see that right on your GoToWebinar panel. If you click on that, it will let us know that you have a question, and we can unmute your line. All you'll need to do on your end is just click the microphone icon. That will actually open up your mic and speakers so that you can actually ask your question to the group. So again, there's 2 easy ways that you can ask questions today. You can go right to your GoToWebinar panel. Simply find that questions box. You can type your question in there, or you can click your raised hand icon that will actually appear on the GoToWebinar panel. That will allow us from our end to unmute your line. And then all you have to do is click on that microphone icon and that will open up your mic and speakers. One quick caveat, you do have to have a mic and speakers set up on your computer for that to work, obviously. All right. So with that, we've got some very, very special guests on the line. Taylor, are you with us?
Yep. I am. Yep. I just showed my webcam, I think. So.
All right.
Good
morning.
With me, it might be a disaster.
It's great. Good morning, Scarlett. How are you?
Can you say hi to everybody?
Hi, everybody.
So, Scarlett, can you tell me who you have there?
Who's with us right now?
Dada.
No, not on the screen. Who's Mama holding right now? Yeah.
You're holding baby. Now, I don't see your web. I don't see your
right now.
I don't see your webcam on. Is your webcam on?
Oh, okay. Hang on. All right. Am I on now?
Here we are. Okay. Now we can see, and please tell us who is this, Scarlett? Now that we can see you.
Who is this on the camera that you see?
It's baby Dean. Oh, well, it looks you look like you are doing a great job of being a big sister. So Taylor, tell us, are you getting any sleep yet?
Me?
Me? Why is it me? And that is not very good for you.
Actually, Dean's a better sleeper than Scarlett. So right now.
Oh, well, we are so excited to welcome your new member of the family. And I have to tell you, Scarlett, you're doing a great job. And I have to tell you that Dean is just adorable. So give us the detail. How much did Dean weigh when he was born?
He weighed 713 and was born on September 12th.
Oh, very nice. Well, I am so excited.
And he never cries except for right now. So
that's always how it is, right?
Yep. I was like, I think they'll cooperate. I think it's going to be okay.
No, well, you look great. And I don't know if you can see your screen, but I have your announcement picture up and it just came out so darling. And we miss you here so much. We're excited that you're getting this special time with your family, but it's not the same without you for sure.
Thank you. I saw the flyer go out. I was like, oh, maybe this month will be a good month to pop on.
Well, like I said, we miss you terribly. Enjoy your rest. Try to get some rest. I know with two, it's probably a whole new adjustment for your household.
Yeah, Dave said it best. He said going from 2 is like going from 1 to 10.
Yeah, it's not having 2 is not twice the work. It's way more.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, well, I'll let you guys go. Have fun with the Jeopardy, and try to figure out why he's fussing right now.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I know everybody's been asking, so thanks for coming on today. Thanks. Bye, Scarlett. Bye, baby Dean.
Bye, Scarlett.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Bye. Oh, so fun. I'll tell you, we sure miss her around here. So it's so nice that she was able to stop by. So, all right. So let's get into some of the details. So today, we, as I mentioned, are going to do this a little more interactive, a little more Jeopardy style. So there are going to be some polls that come up on your screen when we ask questions. You can actually click right on your answer on the screen and it will show how many people selected A, B, or C. And Dave is going to take us through some exciting new things. Matter of fact, you guys are going to be some of the first people to hear some of the new things that we have going on at MiRealSource. But today we want to talk a little bit about MLS history, a little bit about who we are, where we've come from, and where we're going. So with that, I thought we could maybe start off a little history about the MLS, when it got started. Dave, are you able to see my screen up on your screen?
I can see your screen, yes.
All right, perfect. So in doing a little homework for what you're going to go over, I thought I would go into some of the NAR archives and find some good stuff. So I was actually surprised how far back the MLS goes. Matter of fact, they say that the first MLSs were actually started in the 1890s. And that by 1907, they had established an actual MLS with records. And so that was amazing to me how old the MLS actually is. And by the 1920s, multiple listing services were a fully functioning part of real estate. And so I'm always fascinated by history, and I went actually into the archives and I found some old photos too, which I thought were really cool. This was an MLS ticket from 1966. And then one of the first MLS, basically the rules and regs or policy handbook from 1972. So I thought that those were kind of neat. It's amazing when you look over how the old MLS ticket looked and how very few fields there were. And now obviously we know data is so important. So we have hundreds of fields versus just a few that you had from back then. So I thought those were kind of, I'm such a history buff. I thought that was really kind of neat. And now I'll turn it over to Dave DeRees, our CEO.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the 1920s because that's when MiRealSource started, was in 1921. So next year will be our 100th anniversary or 100th birthday, and we'll plan something to celebrate. I don't know, because of the pandemic, we may not have a cake or blow out any candles. However, we will come up with something to celebrate that, because that's a pretty big achievement, being in business for 100 years. I remember when I got in the business that it was those MLS tickets that you saw on paper. So that's the way it was when I got in the business. But
not to date yourself though, right?
not to date myself, but yeah, exactly. So just a little fun facts about that time period, 1920, 1921. You know, Prohibition was started in 1920. Women earned the right to vote in 1920. Well, they didn't earn the right to vote. They got the right to vote. They should have had the right to vote even before that, but it took a constitutional.
Good save there, Dave. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. March 4th, 1921 was when Warren Harding became president. Alex Grossbeck was the governor. So the first baseball game was broadcast on radio in 1921. First White Castle restaurant. So you can see 1921 was a pretty big year for all kinds of things. Ty Cobb, you know, Charlie Chaplin. And then I love seeing what things cost back. In 1921, the average income was $2,160 per year. A new car cost $525. A movie ticket was 15 cents. Gasoline was 33 cents. And a postage stamp was 2 cents. And your average monthly grocery bill was $37.50. So things have changed a bit in 100 years.
Man, it'd be much cheaper to go to the movies, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well,
so I thought we could launch our first poll here, just to kind of, you know, talk about the 1920s. I thought we'd kind of test you to see if you can. I'm gonna just go ahead and launch this on your screen. And Dave, will you let me know if you see that?
yes, I see the poll.
All right, so the question is, what was the average rent paid in 1921? So if you were going to rent, what was the average rent that you would pay? The answer is $12, $15, $22, or $25. You can open, just make sure you have your poll open full screen. You can click right on the poll, and then we'll go ahead and display. So we'll give you about 2 more minutes and then we'll go, or 2 more seconds, and then we'll go ahead and close the poll. Looks like everybody's answering. Good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close the poll. All right, and can you see the answer there? Can you see that, Dave?
No.
All right.
You mean the result of the poll?
Yeah, are you seeing that?
I'm not seeing the result.
Okay. How about now?
Oh, now I'm seeing the result.
All right, perfect. So it looks like some people answered 12, 40% answered 12, 40% answered 15, and 20% answered 22. The actual answer was $15 per month. So rent was a whole lot cheaper back then. All right. Let me go ahead and go back to our, now are you seeing our screen again, Dave?
Not yet. I'm still seeing the poll result.
Okay. And now can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Let's try that. All right. Are you seeing the PowerPoint now?
No. I'm just seeing the video box for you and me. That's all I see. I don't see the slide presentation.
Okay, I see the slide coming up. Can anybody else let me know if you see the slide showing up? Okay. Looks like they are seeing it. Dave, you want to check see if your window might be minimized so that you can see the slides going forward.
Okay, how do I do that?
You're going to look down at the bottom where the little flower is. Click on that flower and see if you see the How Did MiRealSource Get Started slide.
Go to webinar flower at the very bottom.
Yep.
No, that's not doing anything.
Okay. Well,
just tell me what the slide looks like.
All right. It says, how did MiRealSource get started? So basically, if you, you know what? Let me do this. Let me go back one here so you can see it. It just talks about our dates and our timeline. Looks like in 1921, it was actually started as the East Detroit Realty Association. Can you talk a little bit about that, or EDRA?
Well, it started out with a bunch of brokers getting together to share information so that they could sell each other's listings. And then when it got into the EDRA, that's when they started publishing books and things like that. And then they started getting together with other brokers. So there was some at the south end of Macomb County and at the north end of Macomb County. And then they decided to get together. And then it's just been growing and growing for a long time. But the big thing is that MiRealSource is still to this day a group of brokers that share listings. And the thing that makes us unique is that we're broker owned. The organization is owned by brokers. We're the only broker owned MLS in the state of Michigan.
All right.
Okay,
Come a long way.
We got somebody else who says they don't see it either. So I'm not the only one that's not seeing the slides.
I know Tracy and Brian are seeing it. So here, Dave, do this. Close your, just close the box with your webcam. And then make sure your go-to webinar is open. So you won't see you, but you should be able to see the slide. I think your webcam sort of took over.
No.
So there's a little X to the right of your webcam. like where your display box is, try closing your webcam and then,
I did.
and do you see the slide presentation now that says growth ahead?
No.
Go down to the bottom of your window, see where your flower is, the little flower at the bottom.
The only flower I see at the bottom is at the very bottom, and it's not clickable.
Okay, so if you click on your GoToWebinar panel, does it expand where you can see the PowerPoint at all?
No.
I think it's minimized. Can you see if it probably just minimized it down at the bottom of your screen? See if you have a minimized screen open, Dave. Anything minimized there? Like where your web browser is?
No, I'm not seeing it.
All right, everybody else is saying that they see it.
Right, well, there was one person that said they couldn't see it.
Yeah, okay. So we'll just go through. So the next thing is, let me just jump forward one, talking about our growth and where we're going next. So we're now into talking about the dots on the map. And as you can see here, this is the footprint of MiRealSource. So each one of these dots is basically a listing that has closed in the last year. So Dave, you want to talk a little bit about our footprint, and then we'll go through the dots map.
So the dot map, I think, starts out with our footprint, which is in Southeast Michigan. And like she said, those dots represent actual closed listings. But the next slide should, I believe, add in those dots, the geographic footprint for the ones that we data share through the method called the Great Lakes Repository. We started that a long time ago, back in 2008, and we've been growing that data share for probably the next 9 to 10 years. But that was a method that was good for us back then, and in the last 3 years, we've been using different methods. We're not using that method in our new growth areas. We're using direct data shares, not through the Great Lakes Repository, and not using a repository method at all. So direct, what it means is that we're directly data sharing with people like Mishrick and people like Northern Great Lakes, Lansing, not through the Great Lakes Repository. The repository is an old method of doing it that made sense, 12 years ago. It made sense. Doesn't really make sense now. So I would say we're in like a transition period starting about 3 years ago, that now we're starting to data share without a repository and in a direct data share method. So you'll start to see, as Colleen goes through the dots, that there's more and more dots throughout the state. Many of them are exclusive to us. Only our members see them. People in other MLSs don't see them because they don't have those data sharing relationships, such as Mishrick and Northern Great Lakes and Bay and Claire Gladwin. Is Claire Gladwin one of your big announcements today?
Yes, it is.
Okay, we should have had a trumpet fanfare then.
I'll work on that next. So what Dave is describing is, we had MiRealSource in the beginning, so we had that footprint, and then Dave is saying, that here we now brought in the GLR data, so now you can see that footprint has really grown, and obviously now we're branching out into other forms of data sharing. So the GLR was started so that we could see more data across the state, but then we entered into some exclusive data sharing agreements, like with the Northern Great Lakes. And as you can see, these green dots here on the map, that is a tremendous amount of coverage that is actually exclusive to MiRealSource, meaning that part of being a MiRealSource member is that we want you to have data for listings all across the state. So as you can see, these green dots now give you coverage to see the Northern Great Lakes Realtor information. As you can see, that covers a good portion of the state. And we also have Greater Lansing, as you can see here in these red dots. And Bay is exclusive to us. So Bay is going to be the kind of cream or orange colored dots that you see there. And again, as Dave said, we've now entered into different types of data sharing. So we have data sharing that is exclusive to us. We have the GLR. And we've also, thanks to Brian, our Chief Technical Officer, he's done an amazing job building integration with other MLSs. So for instance, as you can see, we've brought on MiRealSource, and MiRealSource right now is exclusive to MiRealSource members. And he had to build a special piece because MiRealSource also uses Flex. So we've got this great integration that even if they're with other MLS systems, we're able to now data share with them. So it's really given us a huge edge in being able to now cover about 95% of the state. And one of our big announcements today, other than Baby Dean, because Baby Dean I think was an amazing big announcement, so fun having them. But the other big announcement is that we now are going to be data sharing with Claire Gladwin. And so Dave, can you tell us when that will be live?
Yes, that will be live January 1st. So the good news there is they're going to be vendoring from us, and they're also going to be data sharing with us. And so without you having to do anything different, just within Paragon, you'll see their data show up if you're doing any searches up in those areas. So we're getting very, very good coverage up north. I've got lots of members that want to know how they can do business up north. I had an experience last week where someone was trying to find listings in Kalkaska County. And the way this works right now is we have Northern Great Lakes, we have MiRealSource, we're soon to have Claire Gladwin. We currently do not have the MLS that is the home MLS for Kalkaska County. There's a MLS that covers Kalkaska, Emmett, Petoskey, Charlevoix, and currently, right now, they don't data share with any other MLS. So what we did was we went through what a MiRealSource member would be able to see if they wanted to do business in Kalkaska, kind of what listings could they see. And we looked at a different MLS. They could see 3. We looked at our MLS, and because we data share with MiRealSource, there was a 4th one. So with ours, you could see 4 listings, but then when you use the single sign-on data sharing we have with Northern Great Lakes, that added another 100. So then there was 104 that you could see in Kalkaska County, which is a lot better than it used to be. And then if you were missing some, it could be that they were listings that came out of the MLS that's in Kalkaska and Emmett. We are going to be discussing data sharing with them, and our goal is to eventually get to the point where we're data sharing with the entire state so that we can provide our members data for the entire state.
Yeah, so what you see on your screen is our coverage map right now, and I will let you know that we've just signed an agreement to be coming soon with another large MLS. So we just keep growing. Our goal is that you're going to be able to have all the information in your home database of listings literally coast to coast for Michigan. So, you will have more information in your home database so that you can do your job on any listing, because as Dave has mentioned many times, as agents, we're not just working in small areas anymore. We're working throughout the state. And, when we get those calls, if your buyer just found something on Zillow, you want to be able to have more information right in your home database that you can pull up a listing from anywhere. And so now As you mentioned, we're at about 95% coverage of the state. There's currently about 33,000 realtors in the state of Michigan, and now over 30,000 of them are in the data share. So that's incredible.
We're down to there's only just less than a handful of MLSs that we do not currently or soon to be data sharing with. Examples like the Kalkaska, Emmett are not currently in our data share. Paul Bunyan is currently not in our data share. Water Wonderland is not in our data share, but we're down to like just those. I think there's only 3 or 4 that we don't have or have in the pipeline. Like Claire Gladwin is in the pipeline, and there's another one in the pipeline that we haven't named yet, but we'll be naming soon. Yeah,
like by our next show, right, Dave? By our next
by your next mixing it up, we should have the ability to name that one.
So another thing we were talking about is showing how data share works. So Brian was kind enough to run the map that you see on your screen right now. And what he did is we wanted to know, is it successful? Is it working? Is it putting more money in your pocket as an agent? And as you can see here, it is. What he did is he took a listing that was listed in one MLS and then closed by another MLS. So basically data sharing at its finest, right? It's listed with one MLS, but you can see it, so you can sell it. And what that actually meant was that there were over 44,000 transaction sides closed in the last 12 months due to data sharing. What that means in your pocket is $9 billion of agent production was actually closed. So that's a lot of money in your pocket just due to the fact that you can see those listings so that you can sell those listings. I thought that was amazing numbers. Dave, tell us a little bit about vendoring MLS services. Tell us a little bit about how that works, and is that different? What does that mean?
Yes, vendoring is separate and distinct from data sharing. Data sharing just means that we reach an agreement with them to let my members see their listings and vice versa. Whereas vendoring is much deeper. What we're doing there is we're reaching an agreement with an MLS to provide them with our MLS platform, our MLS software, our MLS tools, training, etc., so that we provide it to them on a wholesale basis, and then they use it for their members on a retail basis. And what that means is they're actually on our platform. The huge advantage for that for us is that means that they're now on our data structure, our data fields. When it then comes time to move data around either through data sharing or data feeds, there's no excess additional data mapping that has to be done. It simplifies the way we can move data, share data, and that's a huge benefit of us vendoring other MLSs. Plus, there's other benefits. You want to run over the list of the other benefits?
Sure, absolutely. And right now, what you see up on your screen is the ones that we currently provide MLS services for. So that includes Bay County Realtor Association, East Central Association of Realtors, which was Flint, Greater Shiawassee Association of Realtors, Lenawee County Association of Realtors, Midland Board of Realtors, Saginaw Board of Realtors, and the Southeastern Border, which was formerly Downriver and McCarr. They recently merged. So we're providing services for those, but basically it creates additional revenue for MiRealSource. It allows us to better standardize the fields so that there's more consistency, which obviously more consistency leads to better data sharing. It also gives many exclusive data shares that are just, as Dave mentioned, Northern Great Lakes. This is something Brian did in a very special way, and he worked very hard on it and made it an exclusive data share that just MiRealSource members get to take advantage of. It also allows us to get better negotiating positions when we're buying software and different products. And it allows us to build relationships with different partners. And sometimes we start off with baby steps in our data sharing. I've learned so much just in the last few years from Brian and Dave. You know, we may start off in just some basic data sharing, and the next thing we know, we're vendoring them, you know, on our platform, which again gives us more consistency from neighboring MLS to neighboring MLS.
It's actually gone both ways. Sometimes we start the relationship with data sharing, and then they then decide they want to move into vendoring from us. But it's also worked the other way, where they wanted to vendor from us, but not data share. And then later, after they, were on our platform for a while, and they found out that, well, gee, now that we're on your platform, could we share with this MLS, over here? And we say, well, yeah, it'd be easy now that you're on our platform. Then they decide, okay, now we are willing to data share. So it's gone both ways, in both directions.
That's great. And so I think the big takeaway here from what I understand, Dave, is that there's a lot of different ways of data sharing. So originally it started out kind of with the GLR, but it's really advanced. You and Brian have done a great job of, as I mentioned, even if they're with another MLS like Flex, building that front end so we can still share data with them. And now these exclusive to MiRealSource data sharing partnerships. It sounds like it's really come a long way.
Well, the exclusive ones are a huge benefit to MiRealSource members that people that belong to other MLSs don't get. So that's huge. The other thing is that the integrations that Brian has built in all flow and are also with the data share listings as well. And the one that he just did recently is the associated docs. You want to talk about those?
It's like cue the slide. That one's up. So yes, the associated docs. Now this I think is amazing because even just a couple months back, I remember getting some calls about, an agent was with Mishrick. They could see the listing, but they maybe didn't have access to the associated docs. And just as of yesterday, Brian has set it up. Great job to Brian. He's worked really hard on this so that you can now see the associated docs for all of our data sharing partners. That means anyone we data share with, you now can see the seller's disclosures and the lead-based paint disclosures right in Paragon. So that's huge. So if you're looking at, a Mishrick listing, you're going to be able to see those filled out seller's disclosures and lead-based paint disclosures right inside of Paragon. So I know the next thing that he's working on too is I love as an agent when you're using HomeSnap and you are standing in someone's basement and your buyer says to you, hey, what's this water from? I love being able to go into HomeSnap, being able to open up those seller's disclosures and lead-based paint disclosures while I'm standing there. I can share them right from my phone to my buyer's phone, and they can even sign them with their fingertip if they are completing an offer, at the property. So I know he's working on that right now. All of our data sharing partners are available. You can see these right inside of Paragon, and then down the road, our goal is to have them also all within HomeSnap as well. So huge kudos to Brian. He's worked really hard on this. It's not been easy because these types of associated docs are shared in all different ways, but as of now, you can actually see, and that's kind of our second big announcement, you can now see all of those associated docs right within Paragon. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, that means that when you're using MiRealSource, being able to see all those means you're seeing way, way more information than what you could see on Zillow. And that example that I used where we were looking at Kalkaska, I was looking at, okay, if you're in this MLS, you only see 3. If you're in our MLS, you see the 4 because we have the data sharing with Mishrick. But then you also get to see the Northern Great Lakes, which is another 100. You're up to 104. And just for grins, we look to see, okay, if I looked for that same county in Zillow, how many would I see? And you would only see 70. So, getting to see 104 is way better than seeing 70. Getting to see the associated docs is way better than not getting to see the associated docs. So in every aspect, you're getting way more information through MiRealSource than you are through Zillow, for example.
Which I love. I mean, I love that we now have the advantage. We have more information than the consumer can see on those sites. So I think that's incredible. Another thing that we've just completed that's new, so talking about going from the old books that you used to get from the MLS, and recently I actually saw one of the old MLS before computers. It was actually a box, and I tried to find a picture of one for today's show, but I could not. And it was a box, and basically brokers once a week would have these cards that were actually delivered to their offices. Now, obviously, we didn't have computers way back then, so these cards were delivered to the broker. The broker set them in. It almost looked like a shoebox with these long knitting needles. And there would be a hole for like a 2-bedroom, a hole for like, 1 bathroom or 2 bathrooms, a 2-story or 1-story. And you would slide these long knitting needles right into this shoebox type. And the cards that stayed on the needles when you lifted them up were the cards that had the 3-bedroom and were a ranch, and it would meet that criteria. So it was really fascinating to see. And we've come so far from those days and the days of the Homes books, and now, pretty much everything we're doing from our phones. And that's why it's so important to have these programs like Home Snap and, having all of these ways to pull it up wherever we are. Another thing that we've just recently completed is going to our rules and regs in an online digital catalog. I absolutely love this. Debbie, our Director of Education, just finished putting this one together. And basically what it allows you to do is now find the rules and regs, and it's basically set up so you can go right to the area you're looking for. So what you see is when you click on the link to the rules and reg, it will actually open up your rules and regulations book, but there's a little button right here at the bottom that will open up a table of contents, as you can see here. And if I wanted to know about, let's say, some of our policies, let's say I want to know about the broker information, I can click right on that particular chapter. And as you can see, it opens up right to that particular portion. If I wanted to see a rule on something in particular, I could find that item, simply click on it, and it's going to go right to the rules section. So it allows you to go right to where you want without having to click through 53 pages of information. If you did want to go through it like a catalog, you can do that too, but it certainly makes it a lot easier to find what you're looking for. So again, coming a long way from where we started.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like that. I think it's way easier, and I love the format of it. You're going to be seeing more come from us with that type of format, with the movies embedded in them. It's a really neat program. Also remember that during these trying times that we still have all of our classes that are available and tech support 7 days a week. So remember, if you're looking to, let's say find out how to do some more lead gen, we're all looking to get some more listings right now. You can go right to our MiRealSource media channel on YouTube. All of our classes are hosted there. You can go right into our playlists. And it will show you things like our Mixing It Up that we're doing today. We're actually recording this. This will be available. Our lead generation classes to pick up more listings. Our, how to write an offer quickly. Everything is posted there. But if you still need a little bit of additional help, we now offer complimentary one-on-one. So yes, get to go to MiRealSource Media, watch the class, but if you have some questions or you need it to be tweaked a little bit more to your business, go right to the MiRealSource Facebook page, and you can sign up for one-on-one help with a trainer like myself or any of our trainers, and we'll actually walk you through your questions, and we'll take you through some time-saving tips and techniques. So if you need a little extra help, again, go right to our MiRealSource Facebook page. You can sign up. We do ask, it'll let you sign up anytime after. It gives us like a 3-day window. Just put in your name, your contact information, and then we'll go ahead and set up a Zoom call where we can actually take you through that particular product. And if you haven't checked out Dave's podcast, please go to yourrealsource.info. There are some great podcast shows that you can listen to even in your car. You can subscribe so that you get up to the minute podcasts. And the nice thing is there's also the pandemic curve that's posted there. So you can see exactly week by week what's going on with the numbers. Our closing's still getting done. It's amazing looking at that. We look at that as our staff meeting every Monday morning, and it's amazing watching the trends. You can obviously see when the shelter in place started, but you can actually watch it week by week to see what's going on in the real estate trends of closings, pendings, and new listings coming on board. So it's been very fascinating to watch. But Dave has really captured some great industry topics, and I've learned a lot just from listening to them. They're short, they're entertaining, and they're great when you're just driving along and you want to know what's going on in real estate today. So again, you can go to his podcast at yourrealsource.info, and you can see all of that there. All right, so I think we should now do a giveaway. All right, so what we're going to ask you to do is go into your questions box in the GoToWebinar panel. The question is, and it's kind of, it's gonna see if you were following along today. The question that we want answered is in your question box. Let us know one exclusive data share that MiRealSource offers its members. So one data share that is exclusive to MiRealSource, meaning that you only see the data if you are a MiRealSource member. So we'll give you just a moment. You want to go to your GoToWebinar panel, open it up, and then what you want to do is you want to go to that questions area, and the first person who comes up with the right answer, which data share would be exclusive?
There's more than one right answer. There's several to pick from.
Yep, and all we're looking for is all you have to give us is one, and the first person who names one, we're going to give you a prize. And while you guys are doing that, I'll show you quickly what that prize is going to be. All right, so what you should see on your screen is the fall, because we're at the very tail end of fall, the fall Mrs. Prindable's Caramelled Apple set. So if you answer this question correctly, all you have to do is give us one of the data shares that is going to be exclusive to MiRealSource members. All right, not seeing anybody yet. All right. All right, we're gonna, looks like we have a, bing, bing, bing. Looks like we have an answer. Ed, you are right. Bay County is one of our exclusive partners. And so we are going to be contacting you after the show today to get your contact information. And then we'll all be stopping by to help you eat those delicious carameled apples. So we'll be sending this out to you. So yes, to kind of go back over, I think I've got a slide here, which are going to be exclusive to MiRealSource. Let me bounce back a couple. Some of our exclusives are the Northern Great Lakes Realtors, Bay County, which was Ed's answer, great job, the Claire Gladwin Board of Realtors, and currently Mishrick. So remember, those are exclusive benefits. And one of the other exclusive benefits I did want to remind everybody about is through BS&A too. Remember, as a MiRealSource benefit, if you are looking through Genesee County, Macomb County, or any of the gross points, when you click on that BS&A button, remember that those fees are covered for you. You don't have to pay those. We pay those as part of your MiRealSource benefits. So again, BS&A, if you're looking at Macomb County, Genesee County, or any of the gross points, that's another benefit of being a MiRealSource member. So great job, Ed. We will be reaching out to you after to get your contact information.
You know, another thing that we probably should have mentioned is the other change that Brian worked on and implemented regarding RealList.
Oh, Dave, you want to tell them about that?
Yes, we now have 100% of the counties, all, what is it, 83, I think, all 83 counties of realist data in the state of Michigan.
And that's, and you know, people say, okay, so I can look up 83 counties of information, but it does even more than that. It allows you to auto-populate your listing in Paragon from those 83 counties. So basically, instead of re-keying in all of that information for your listing, it allows you to pull that information from Realist. And if you're creating a listing transaction in Transaction Desk, you can literally go in and now put in the address, and it pulls about 60% of the information you're going to need to fill out your listing contracts. So that integration with Realist is huge. But yes, all 83 counties are now available. And so Ed Brittingham, I hope I said that right, will be in contact with you right after today's show. We'll get your information and we'll get those apples sent out to you. All right, Dave, did you have any other takeaways? Anything you want to end up with?
Everybody take some of these classes and schedule a one-on-one. Colleen is doing one-on-ones and people are loving them. So, you know, take advantage of that.
Yeah, it's a really nice tool, especially with a lot of people, you know, still staying at home and, you know, wanting to bone up on some of these classes. This is a great thing to do. Again, go to MiRealSource's Facebook page. You can go ahead and sign up for any of our classes there, and it'll be with a trainer just like myself, and we'll walk you through whatever your questions are, and we'll also give you some time-saving tips and techniques. They've been wildly successful, so. All right, well, with that, I want to say thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Enjoy the beautiful weather that's coming this weekend. I don't know how much more 70-degree days we're going to get, so let's take advantage of every single one. Stay safe, and thanks again for joining us today.
Bye.